All right, time for the solution walkthrough for our donut chart and filtering assignment. Go ahead and open up your AdventureWorks report, head to the Customer Detail tab, and as a reminder, we wanted to show some composition here using fields from our customer table. And to do that, we're going to add two donuts, both showing total orders, one broken down by income level, the second broken down by occupation. So let's go ahead and add a blank donut chart to get started. And in our build menu, remember that the legend is how we want to break these values down. And in our first example, it's going to be income level. And the values that we're analyzing here are total orders. So that looks good. Simple as that for building the visual itself. Now we're on to formatting. So let's go ahead and drill into the format pane here. First update was just to modify the title a little bit. I think something like orders by income level is descriptive and clear, so that looks good. And as always, let's change the font to Seago UI size 10, centered above our visual. So title looks good. Now, because we're going to be adding the category names into these detail labels or data labels, we don't need the legend as well. That becomes redundant. So we can turn off the legend. We'll get back to slice colors in just a second, but these detail labels do want to make some changes here. So for contents, let's show the category and the data label. So now we see average, low, high. And let's modify the value format a bit to font size 8 with 1 decimal point. That's looking good. Now let's go back to that slice option and actually modify the colors. So we're going to use a bright blue for average. Use that medium gray for low. Use this kind of gold or middle yellow for high. And we're going to be filtering out very high anyway, so we can kind of keep this default purple right here in place. And that visual level filter, that's the last step to complete this first donut. So we can drill into our filter pane here. We'll find income level. We can drill into our basic filtering options, select everything, then deselect very high. You can see that purple segment just excluded from the chart. And this is kind of a best practice that I tend to follow if I'm using things like donuts or pies. Anything more than 3 or 4 segments tends to get a bit overwhelming. So I think applying a visual level filter like this will really help this particular chart look a bit more clear. So that's it for our income level chart. Let's go ahead and resize things a bit because we're going to need to stack 2 of these, one on top of the other. Now we'll select this one. Let's copy and paste another version of it. We can drag it kind of right beneath it like so. Do a little alignment tweaking. Now let's go ahead and update this one. So instead of showing orders broken down by income level, this time we're going to show them broken down by occupation. And it looks like we may need to reformat colors here, but that's okay. Everything else looks good on the build side. So let's jump to that formatting pane, visual format. We need to update the title here because we're not looking at income level anymore. We're looking at orders by occupation. And it looks like our detail labels are still looking good. They preserved the settings from our first donut. So we just need to update the colors again. Same story here. So the first segment will be bright blue, dark gray, yellow gold. And then again, we're going to filter out these last 2, clerical and manual, so we can leave the defaults there. Now, one thing that's interesting, because we copied this chart, if you look at the filter pane, you'll notice that there's still an income level filter on this donut, which is actually not what we want. So we can go ahead and remove that field from this donut, and we're only going to apply a filter for occupation. That was kind of just an artifact or a carryover from copying the first version of our chart. So like we said, we can do either a basic filtering option by selecting all and deselecting the 2 lowest, clerical and manual, like so. Or if you want to jump ahead and use a top N filter, let's go ahead and undo that change. We'll select everything and then toggle from basic filtering to top N. And what you'd do is you'd show the top 3 items by total orders. So you can grab total orders, drag it into this field where it says by value, and click apply. And we get the exact same result. So there we go. We've got our 2 donut charts. They match the solution preview, and that's a wrap on our assignment.